I'm Jeffrey St. Arromand with Serhant, cast member of Owning Manhattan Season 2 and partner of the Trisha Lee team. Now, today on Let's Get to the Point, we're breaking down what is arguably one of the most controversial and discussed topics in real estate today. And that's the necessity for brokerages to provide a private listing service to clients. This entire controversy really surrounds around Compass and its push for private listings, and what really happens there is the concern that this limits buyers' access to homes, restricts transparency, and potentially reduces home sales prices. Now, critics argue that it kind of benefits the brokerage because it allows them to earn commissions on both sides of the transaction, and that can lead to a less competitive marketplace. Now, last week at the Real Deal Forum, Ryan Serhant of Serhant said Compass is wagering the real estate model of yesterday. Now, Serhant believes Compass's goal is to break everything and own the pieces.
Like, they're not building Amazon, they're building Barnes and Noble. And the story has already been told.
Now, Serhant's reference to the book chain was clearly an apparent dig at Compass's latest move to publish its private exclusive listings in a book, which will then be available to everyone throughout the brokerage community with a visit to their local firm's offices. Now, the book, according to Compass, will ultimately be updated weekly and we'll have a digital version as well that all brokers in the brokerage community can actually review. Now, here's a more detailed look at what some of critics are calling their concerns. Number one, limited buyer access and reduced transparency. Private listings, often referred to as off-market or whisper listings, are not publicly advertised on platforms like StreetEasy, Zillow, or Redfin. This means that buyers, particularly those not connected to Compass agents, may not be aware of these homes and are therefore excluded from the entire buying process. Now, again, critics argue that this limits the pool of potential buyers and can lead to lower sale prices as fewer buyers are aware of the property. It just basically hinders the ability of buyers to compare prices and to understand real market trends. Some critics, they suggest that the private listing strategy encourages sellers to accept offers before the homes are widely marketed, potentially leading to lower sales prices. There's also a potential conflict of interest and ethical concerns. Now, Compass benefits from private listings as they collect commissions on both the buyer and seller sides of the transaction. Some argue that this creates, a conflict of interest as Compass's agents may be incentivized to push for private listings to maximize their own commissions rather than prioritize the best interests of their clients. Now, that's still out for debate, but the lack of transparency in private listings can also raise ethical concerns whether sellers now are fully informed about the potential downsides of this approach. And lastly, you have the legal and regulatory implications. Some multiple listing services, MLSs, have rules that limit or prohibit private listings, leading to legal battles between Compass and MLSs. Compass has been suing several MLSs throughout the country and arguing that their policies restrict homeowners' ability to market their properties and that the MLSs are engaged in anti-competitive behavior. So now I think it's important to hear how this impacts brokers who have their boots on the ground in the market in real time and their thoughts on how private listings are impacting their business and if they think is a fair practice or not.
I think it's a bit of a disservice to a bona fide seller who has made the decision to sell because they are not getting as many eyeballs on the property as they possibly can. It's also eliminating all of other brokerages from seeing that listing. It's a limited amount of people. And I think for some sellers, if they quote unquote want to hit a number, it could be beneficial for them depending on their lifestyle. They don't want to have a ton of interruptions. Also, if they want to screen buyers prior to bringing them in. But I think overall, it is a disservice to sellers.
So private listings, it's kind of a hot topic right now. I think it does kind of make it a little bit more difficult for buyers to just find out about inventory that's on the market. I think as real estate agents, we're not meant to be gatekeepers of product that's on the market, but more so advisors to help them through the transaction. So overall, I just think it makes it a little bit difficult for buyers looking for something right now?
Oh, the major issue is definitely that it would be very limited. And so we should give the most exposure, which would be so that the public, that everybody can see it. And that's very important for your listing. However, I have to admit, it is only for a certain percentage of buyers or sellers. And our sellers would like to have the most exposure everywhere. And that's what we owe them, and we have to give it to them.
Continue to follow Estate Media for all your latest real estate news.